here this morning. I know it's kind of early, and I really appreciate seeing everyone. I'd like to introduce our special guest. She's here to speak with us about simple choices for a happier and healthier life. Janet is a board-certified holistic counselor, and she is a member of the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. Janet McKee, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. And then, you know, before you get started, can I just mention we do have a second breakfast workshop planned tentatively for Thursday, July 16th, hopefully the same time, 7 and 8 a.m. And then we've got a 4-week challenge that we're going to put out there. We really hope to get some participation. What it's going to involve is the first week, we're going to challenge you to drink 8 8-ounce glasses of water every day. And there's going to be a point system, and then there's going to be gift cards for rewards. And I'll get the details of the point system out to everybody within the next week. The second week, you'll drink the 8 8-ounce glasses of water, and you're going to try to get at least 7 hours of sleep a night. Or maybe just at least be in your bed for 7 hours. For me, that would be like, that'd be a really good thing. Third week, the water, the sleep, and we're going to add a healthy breakfast. And we'll give you, you know, the parameters for what constitutes a healthy breakfast. Week 4, those 3 things, and then you're going to add 15 minutes of physical activity a day. Doesn't include your job, just 15 minutes of whatever you want to do, either in addition to what you already do, or if you're not doing anything, just 15 minutes of walk around the block, whatever. And like I said, there'll be a point system, and there will be rewards. And Lisa, we're going to have a portal, is that correct? A Facebook?
Yeah, we're going to do a Facebook page, kind of like a closed Facebook group where we can help hold each other accountable, kind of check in, interact with each other, things like that. So.
And as an incentive, besides the rewards, I'm ordering everybody that participates an infusion water bottle. I don't know if everybody knows what that is. You can put your fruit in it, or your mint, or cucumber, whatever, and it just gives your water that nice little flavor. So, love to, you know, see everybody here participate in that. Janet, thank you,
Amy. Thank you very much for inviting me to come and speak to all of you this morning. And you will understand better why those items are on the 4-week challenge after my talk this morning. We'll hear about you're going to get some exercise and eat well and get some sleep. You're really going to understand why by the time the day is over. And it's amazing how this all came together this morning, because my GPS system didn't seem to understand North Huntington as a city, so I put in a zip code, and then apparently I must have had the wrong zip code or something, and I don't know where I was driving around the area. So, but somehow, you know, I said to myself, I'm not going to get nervous, I'm not going to get upset, I know I'm going to get there. And so I looked up Strategos and corrected, I had something wrong on there, and arrived. And then when I arrived, it was only a few minutes before 7, it was before 7, and I thought, well, should I really try to hook up all this equipment and figure out how all this works? And it all just happened. I'm a holistic health counselor, I'm not a technician. And so some kind of miracle is happening here today, I don't know. And what it is, it's not really a miracle. It is your organization cares enough about you to put you through a wellness program to learn ways to live a healthier life. And what's really fascinating is these are basic common sense principles that we're going to teach you and hopefully inspire you to start incorporating in your life. Common sense. What we're going to do is get back to the rhythms of Mother Nature. And when we follow those rhythms, being happy and healthy is so simple. It's so simple, it's almost ridiculous. Sometimes I think to myself, how do I get paid to do this? Because it is such common sense. What I'm going to talk to you about today is not something that you have to go out to the corners of the Himalayan mountains and walk 400 miles to get the solution to be happy and healthy. These are things you can do in your everyday life that make a huge impact on your well-being. So, as Amy said, I am Janet McKee, holistic health counselor, certified member of the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. What that means, a lot of words. It just says I'm certified in holistic health. And I'm the founder of an organization called Sana View. Sana is Latin for health and wellness. So we're providing ways to give people a view into how to live a better life. And we're doing that through workshops. I do a lot of speaking. I do speaking actually all across the country. As a matter of fact, this morning I had to load up my little vehicle with, today was simple because I don't have to cook today. From here I have a meeting at my farm. Then from there I go to State College and have a big workshop I'm teaching. Then from there I go to Allentown, not tomorrow, Allentown on Saturday. Big workshop I'm teaching. So I had to be prepared for all of these things, but I'm getting used to it. And how do I do? I mean, I work a lot. And how do I do that? How do I keep up this pace and this clear thinking and this high energy? I do it by doing the very things I'm going to teach you today. Okay? I'm balanced, clear thinking, high energy all day long. And I do it easily because of my lifestyle. And that's what we're going to talk about. So, I am also the local representative for the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And what that is a national organization of medical doctors that have been studying cancer, diabetes, heart disease, cognitive decline, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, autoimmune since the 1980s. And what they found is nothing short of dramatic. They found that food and lifestyle are everything. Everything to not only prevent disease, but even reverse diseases. And you're going to learn more about that as we go forward with some of the other workshops. So really amazing. So I'm alternative care, I'm holistic health, but I also work very closely with a series of medical doctors. And so it's a perfect combination of information based on scientific research, but things you can do in your everyday life that are simple to do. So I've been teaching people for years what foods to eat to be healthy, and finally I began to realize it's not just what you eat, it's how it's grown and where it comes from. And so like a crazy woman, as if I didn't have enough to do already, I bought a 52-acre farm out near Seven Springs. We're right off the Donegal exit. And we are developing an organic produce farm. So we are learning how to grow vegetables, fruits and vegetables, without pesticides, without herbicides, grown naturally, with lots of love, good nutrition, and we want to teach people. Use the farm as an opportunity to teach people not only how to live a healthier life, but even how to do organic gardening and so forth. So we can even talk about that sometime in the future. I've done corporate wellness workshops where we actually teach people about having a garden. And does anybody here have a garden? Or do you want to? Oh, wonderful. Yay. Okay. So amazing, and so many levels, by the way, and we'll talk about that. So what we're going to talk about today are basic principles to how to be healthy and happy. And one of the first things I like to talk about is getting sleep. We do not make sleep a priority in this country. What do? We stay up late watching the late news. What's on the news? It's bad news. It's all dramatized, horrible news. It's bad. Right? And it's rare that you see something good and positive on TV in general. Hi, how are you? Come on in.
How are you?
There's breakfast in the back. Compliments of Amy. So we stay up late watching the late news. We go to bed miserable because it's all bad news, all filled with fear and anxiety. Then our alarm jolts us out of bed in a very uncomfortable way, and we start our day with a cup of coffee in Danish. Guess what? It is no wonder why we're tired, stressed. We yell at our spouse on the way out, we kick the dog, we road rage driving here. You have trouble, with dealing with the pressures of your job. then you're exhausted, irritable, you go home, right? Because we're not living in the rhythms that Mother Nature intended, which is you go to bed when it gets dark outside. How about before you go to bed, don't watch the TV. As a matter of fact, one of the first things I recommend to people, by the way, you might find this ridiculous, if you want to live a happier life, stop watching TV. I really mean it. It's amazing. Because even if you try to watch a comedy, what do they throw in front of you? News flashes are in there. How about, and I know some of you might find this ridiculous, but it's amazing how it impacts you. How about you're watching a funny show, but they show you a blurb about the show that's coming on at 11 where they're shooting each other and there's, right? I mean, and what's amazing to me, I'm a huge Steeler fan. I'm like one of those fanatical Steeler fans. And so the only time I watch TV is if there's a Steeler game on. They're not local, so I go to the games. And what do they do in the middle of a Sunday afternoon? They're throwing all this negativity, and meanwhile I realize there's little children watching the game with their family. So pay attention to what you're feeding your mind. We're going to talk about what to feed your body, but what are you allowing to be fed to your mind? Is it negative? Is it causing stress, anxiety? Right? Pay attention to this, because this is huge. This is a huge solution for having less stress and happier life. Okay? So one of the things I say, it would be interesting, just take a week. It'd be great to take a month to stop watching TV, or just put on a funny movie where you know you're not going to see commercials or whatever, and see how that affects the way you view life and how you feel. People say, well, how can you do that? Like, not watch the news. You won't know what's going on in the world. Believe me, you will. You will know what's going on in the world. People will tell you, and enough that it's not thrown in your face, you will know what's happening. It's in conversation or here or there. So, getting sleep. But people say, okay, big deal, sleep. I don't have time to sleep. I'm too busy. Or I'd rather do this and that. Well, let me tell you, sleep is absolutely important. It's not only a time for your body to rest and rejuvenate. It is time for your body to heal, to detoxify. Sleep is a time that balances your hormones, that affects so much of what's going on with you. As a matter of fact, a lot of people come to me because they want to lose weight. And people think it's food and exercise. Calories in versus calories spent. Guess what? What's the first thing you want to look at when it comes to losing or balancing your weight? Is sleep. If you do not sleep enough, the hormones that affect your metabolism are suppressed. The hormones that affect your food cravings. You have a hormone that affects all of this. And what happens is when you're not getting enough sleep, that hormone is depleted, so you will crave unhealthy foods in a weak attempt to try to boost that hormone. The hormone that helps you feel full when you've eaten is suppressed. Do you ever know somebody, they say, I can just keep eating constantly and I'm always hungry. Well, first of all, they're not eating the right foods and then nourish their body, which is why their body's always hungry, because it's hungry for nourishment, true nourishment, minerals. But isn't that amazing if you're not sleeping enough? All of those hormones are out of whack. And so you're always hungry, your metabolism is suppressed, you're craving foods that are unhealthy. Does this sound familiar? Okay, so sleep. How about healing? As a matter of fact, the doctors I work with say the hours before midnight are the most healing for your body. Healing. Your body goes through a healing when you sleep. This is so important for preventing serious illness or even reversing. So it's really interesting because if I go to bed at 10 p.m. and sleep the same number of hours, then if I went to bed at midnight and sleep the same number of hours, I feel better when I went to bed at 10. Try it. It's amazing. Now, if you're used to being, late bird, I don't know, then you can't just all of a sudden jump to go to bed early. But if you little by little work your way forward, you will notice you feel better. If you're having trouble sleeping, then we have all kinds of ideas on that. Let me just go back for a second. What happens in that, this is this little thing, because I talk about this. Your body, when you sleep, you go through a detoxification. And it's really interesting because when you wake up in the morning, Do you ever notice your tongue is white? Okay, so little thing, you might see this at the drugstore next to the toothbrush or these little tongue scrapers. One of the things I want to teach you about over the next months that we work together is allowing your body a natural detoxification that happens. And your body detoxifies through your skin, when you sweat, of course when you eliminate, when you breathe, okay? Your body's constantly working, and you're going to learn why certain food choices in the next series that we're going to do support your body's detoxification. So a little thing on that, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So improving sleep habits is key. And this is a summary. Rest, rejuvenate, heal, detoxify, balance your hormones, boost your metabolism, support proper insulin levels. People with diabetes, type 2 diabetes, if we get them to do all of these things we're going to talk about this morning, and one of them is sleep, we see improvement in the insulin levels. Growth of balanced mood and emotions. How can you deal with the stress of the day if you're exhausted? Right? And actually some of these things are just simple little things that you have to deal with. And it reduces stress and cortisol levels. So cortisol, when you're under a lot of stress, it gets boosted, and that's why sometimes we gain weight around the middle, which then leads you to higher rates of diabetes and heart disease and so forth. So, how many people here are sleeping well? See? That is not good. Okay, this is society, this is American society. Nobody makes sleep a priority. So, it's in your challenge, week number 2, I think it is. We are going to start doing it. If you're having trouble sleeping, get outside during the day. When you're outside during the day, even on a rainy day, you get daylight in your eyes and on your skin. It sets your melatonin, which is your sleep hormone, and it helps you sleep at night when it's dark. And that's why it's really important that your room be dark and quiet. And that's not here. Okay, so you want light in your eyes during the day, no light at night. If you get light in your eyes at night, after you've turned off the light and you go to bed, it resets your melatonin and thinks you're supposed to be awake. And people do this all the time. They say, well, Janet, I wake up at 2 a.m. every night. I said, well, what do you do? Oh, I turn on the light, I read, I turn on the TV, or I go downstairs into the fridge to get a midnight snack, or 2 a.m. So what are you doing? You're getting all that light in your eyes. And so no wonder they wake up at 2 a.m. every night, because their body thinks they're supposed to wake up at 2 a.m. because their melatonin, they're sleep. You see that? Okay, so sometimes it takes an adjustment. I get up, I drink a lot of water and tea, and sometimes I have to get up in the middle of the night and use the restroom. I've actually learned how to do it. Don't turn on the light. Make sure you can do it safely. I don't want anybody to fall asleep. Don't turn the light, use the restroom, back, boom. I'm back to sleep. As soon as my head hits the pillow. Okay? So pay attention to how you're getting light in your eyes. Of course, avoid caffeine and sugary foods late in the day, especially in the evening. And this is amazing because we eat dinner and then we tend to have dessert. And then people that can't sleep. And this is people that have trouble sleeping. If you're just refusing to sleep, that's another problem. If you have trouble sleeping, pay attention. Do not have sugary foods, of course, caffeine late in the day. And try to go to bed at a similar time. Avoid the TV or computer. What does everyone do before they go to bed? They watch TV or they're in front of the computer. And guess what? The screens stimulate your brain. So even though some people fall asleep in front of the TV, does anybody do that? Yeah, okay. So you might think, oh, that kind of relaxed me, and then I fall asleep. But guess what? Your brain's actually stimulated, and you're not getting the deep sleep that you truly need. And I'm very guilty of being in front of the computer before I go to bed. Okay, so I've tried to learn. I take the last half an hour, turn off the computer, go upstairs. Read, listen to music, take a hot bath, something. Okay, do something to kind of clear your mind and get your rest. And what's really wonderful is to do something positive instead of watch the news, right, which is all negative. Do something that brings in more positive thoughts. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Okay, so sleep. You guys got that now, right? Sleep is important, and now we know how to fix it if you're not doing it right. Well, what else is important? I already mentioned to help you sleep at night, getting outside during the day and get some exercise really helps them. Okay? If people are sitting in an office all day long with fluorescent lights and you're not getting outside and expending some energy, that may be affecting the quality of your sleep. But we think of exercise like, okay, I know, Janet, I need to be fit. Well, it's not just fitness, and yeah, that's great. But let me tell you what's going on with exercise, more than you may realize. Studies were done of women that had breast cancer that were recovered. Those that went on a brisk walk for 30 minutes, 5 times a week, had an 80% reduced chance of recurrence. Just by going on a brisk walk for 30 minutes, 5 times a week, like how hard is that? An 80% reduced chance of recurrence, which is common, by the way. Once you get cancer and you deal with it, the recurrence is common. Because your body is all, your lifestyle is in a situation that's allowing cancer to occur. We teach people how to fix the diet and lifestyle so that it never occurs again. But for women, people that had diabetes, those that went on a brisk walk for 30 minutes, 5 times a week, their C-reactive protein came down and their insulin levels balanced. C-reactive protein is an indicator for inflammation. Anybody have any aches or pains? You don't have to raise your hand, okay? Inflammation. So can you imagine that by going on a walk, reduces inflammation? And what else does it do? Okay, of course, when you get some exercise, and I do recommend some movement, some cardiovascular exercise, good for your heart health and everything. I also recommend some weight bearing. And this is something that women do tend not to do. Men tend to lift heavy things, you know what I mean? You tend to be more active. Well, weight bearing exercise is the #1 thing you can do for bone health. People think it's drinking milk. It's not. You don't hear that because the milk dairy industry is an industry. They are a $165 billion industry. They spend $100 million a year trying to convince you need as much dairy as possible. Well, let me tell you, we're the highest dairy consuming population in the world, and we have the highest rates of osteoporosis. Something's wrong. A study was done at Penn State University of girls in their bone building years. Half of them they gave more calcium to. The other half they did weight bearing exercise. The half they gave more calcium to showed absolutely no benefit to bone health. The weight bearing exercise. Okay, so what do? Right? Men, you're good. You probably lift or you lift heavy things. You're more aggressive that way. Women tend not to do that. So I want you to go out. If you get your gift card from the company after getting your points for this program, go to Dick's Sporting Goods or Walmart, wherever, and get some little hand weights. Okay, I go out, I take my dogs for a walk each day behind my house in the woods. I come in and for 5 minutes, lift some weights. Okay? Get that weight bearing exercise. When you get weight bearing, it causes resistance against your bones and it helps inspire your bones to generate new cells. Your bones actually, some cells die and some cells get regenerated. New cells get regenerated. And this regeneration process can only happen if you're giving some resistance. And walking, of course, is resistance in your hips and thighs. Okay, sometimes I might turn on the water in the morning to get a shower and I'm waiting for the water to get warm. I just get down and do a few push-ups. So it doesn't have to be, see, this doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to become a weightlifter. Just give yourself an opportunity to move, get outside, breathe fresh air, get some weight bearing where you can. And what else are you getting then when you get outside? You're getting vitamin D. Vitamin D is absolutely critical for overall health and well-being. Low rates of vitamin D are showing increased rates of cancer, diabetes, autoimmune disease. Have you ever heard of seasonal affective disorder? That happens in the winter because we're not getting any sunshine. So what do you do when there's no sunshine? Yeah. When there's no sunshine, even if there is sunshine in the fall and winter, you're not getting any vitamin D. Even if you are outside, you should supplement. So key thing here, I want everyone to do, does everyone have like health insurance or a regular doctor you have, whatever? It's not that expensive, if not, to go to your regular doctor and get a blood test and have them check your vitamin D levels. You have to request it because they don't all do it. And a little thing I'll teach you, your number, ask for the number. Don't rely on your doctor. Because some of them will say a number between 20 and 50 is normal. It's too low. You want to be 50 to 100. So all you need to remember is get a blood test, request the results, and try to get your number above 50. Okay, then that's one of the key things to prevent all of these serious chronic diseases that are prevalent in this country. Okay, simple thing. Manage stress. Okay, so I'm already giving you ideas on how to reduce stress. And I already introduced you to the fact to bring in positive thoughts. And people are like, yeah, that's ridiculous. There's so much going on out there, and my job is stressful, and I have issues with my family, or whatever. Oh, I have too many stressful, negative things happening in my life. I can't reduce stress. That's not true. Your thoughts, you actually choose your thoughts. And this is a very important thing that I want to introduce you to, because we don't realize this. We think, let's say you're having an issue with a spouse or a child, and they're really causing you a lot of stress and aggravation. Those are thoughts you're choosing that's causing you so much stress and aggravation. And when you have stress in your life, you want to keep that, we all have stress in our lives. Me too. We all do. It's part of life. But you can begin to pay attention to the fact that you're choosing thoughts about that, so that you can create a situation where the stress is out here, but it's not affecting you here. Do you know one of the biggest causes of health challenges and emotional challenges is stress? Now let me tell you, this is serious. 2008, the stock market fell, one of the multiple times it's fallen, okay? Do you know what I ended up seeing in my office? Financial analysts that were diagnosed with cancer. Because the stress they were going through was so dramatic. Not only were they losing their investments, but the investments of every one of their clients. Think about that. It's like just falling out. They ended up getting cancer. Because when you have stress, it reduces your immune system. It suppresses your immune system, and your immune system's there to fight illness, even things as serious as cancer. When you're stressed, it also kills the beneficial bacteria in your gut, which we're going to talk about. You need beneficial bacteria because 80% of your immune system relies on beneficial bacteria. If I'm throwing too much stuff at you, am I throwing too much stuff at you fast? What this is an introduction to how to live a healthier life, and I'm going to be here ongoing to continue to remind you of some of these things, go into more detail, and to give you more solutions. This is like an overall view of simple things, okay? It just might seem like a lot at first. So what do? You pay attention to your thoughts. When I was driving here this morning, and my GPS was lost, I caught myself. First I'm like, oh no, I'm going to be late to the first corporate wellness. That's not helping. Then I said, okay, just take a deep breath. And that's one of the ways to reduce stress. How many people here are breathing?
You have to, I've been working on that.
You have been working.
To reduce stress also. You do have to think about it. And it does feel really good to just take that deep breath, and it relaxes your body. I'll do it when I'm driving, or, you know.
People are like, of course I'm breathing, Jan, and I'm sitting here, I want to be alive because I'm breathing. But no, are you truly breathing? When we're stressed, our breath is very shallow. So what I want you to practice is something that Dr. Andrew Wall teaches, is you breathe in for the count of 4. Everyone do that. Hold for the count of 4. Exhale for the count of 4. Okay? Now see, that's different. Now that's great. Then you can do that all day long. But let's say the first thing I did was in my car. My GPS was like all confused. I was like, okay, all right. And then I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to get there fine. And I did, and it's just like, or what's the worst thing that could happen? Okay. A few minutes later, you guys are getting breakfast, whatever. Okay, so things happen. And do I want to get myself all tied up in knots and make myself sick? And let me tell you a really good story about this. A few weeks ago, a friend of mine who runs a juice bar in Pittsburgh called me up and said, Janet, we're getting requests for wheatgrass juice. You need to bring over your juicer and your wheatgrass. You need to teach it. Anybody ever hear of wheatgrass? Yes. Kind of a quirky thing. Okay, but actually it's really healing juice you can get in your body. Okay, so anyway, so it's something new for the juice bar, right? Quick, you gotta run, I need help. So I hurried up, I ran home, got my juicer, got my wheat. We grow wheatgrass at the farm. It's one of the things we grow. And I drove really fast to the juice bar. And guess what happened? I got a speeding ticket. Okay. So what is that? You know the feeling, there's somebody, the lights are flashing and the guys are like, I'm like, God, darn. I said more words than that. And I go, why did I do that? Like, I can't believe I would do something so stupid. I'm going to get a ticket. It's going to cost me so much money. And I said, okay, Jan, wait a minute. I myself choosing those thoughts, right? And so then I said to myself, okay, wait a minute. This man is stopping me from getting in an accident, from hurting somebody. He's teaching me in life I need to slow down. Before I knew it, I was actually sitting there smiling to myself, realizing the message that God or whoever was sending me at that moment. And it was a gift. Doesn't that feel better? To think thoughts like that? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know what I mean? What do they say? You know, stuff happens. Okay, so learn to pay attention to your thoughts. Deep breathing. Getting more sleep will also help you. Because if I was exhausted, it would have been harder, right, to do that. Okay, challenge for week number 1 is drinking water. But guess what I want you to do? It's not just any water anytime during the day. I want you to start your day with a glass of water. Think about it. You just went 7, 8, 9 hours. Even if you got up in the middle of the night and had a sip of water, you are dehydrated when you wake up in the morning. Your cells are 70% water.
Anybody want water?
The cells of your brain are even more so. Did you know that? How can your body function? How can your digestive system work? How can your joints be lubricated to reduce joint pain if you're dehydrated? How can you think, how can your metabolism work? Metabolism's like thirsty and struggling, and then we wonder why we have extra weight. How can you think clearly if your brain is dehydrated? Okay, we stay up late, watch the ladies, it's negative, we jump out of bed early, start our day with a cup of coffee. I want you to start your day with a glass of water. Then, all of a sudden, you feel energized, clear thinking, calm. Is that the simplest thing anyone has ever told you? To live a happier and healthier life is start your day with a glass of water. It's so damn simple. Can't believe I get paid for this. Okay, it's simple. It's common sense. Your cells of your body are 70% water at least. How can you function if you're dehydrated?
Isn't your brain like 84% water, or it's high?
Very high. It's at least 70. It's actually different parts of your age. Depending on your age, it actually fluctuates. Your brain is even more so. There was a study done of kids that were about to take a test. Half of them they gave a glass of water to before the exam. The other half they did not. The half they gave a glass of water to actually scored relatively higher on the exam. How can you deal with stress if your brain is crusty and dry? So, start your day with a glass of water. Reduces inflammation, mood and emotions, all of that. But what else then? So first, starting tomorrow morning, I want you to start your day with a glass of water. When you're ready, then I want you to consider having a second glass of water with either squeeze of lemon or lime, because the lemon or lime will help start cleaning out your liver and gallbladder and help rejuvenate. That's very important for overall health. Your liver's like your master organ. You cannot be healthy if your liver isn't functioning properly.